Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Fresh Bar Sports Show. I'm Jabbar Harris. I'm your host and the proprietor. And on this episode, waiting for a special guest to tune in. I know the NBA playoffs is going on right now. Waiting for him to chime in. We got the Golden State up 109-91 over Sacramento. Waiting for my special guest to tap in. Y'all can hear me? I don't know, something my microphone, make sure y'all can hear me. All right, we good? Y'all can hear me? Let me know y'all can hear me. And now, waiting for special guests to tune in. Okay. Make sure y'all can hear me. Got a different microphone. I don't know, waiting for my special guest to tune in. There we go. Hey, what's going on? You hear me? Yeah. Thanks for joining me. I know I was just letting my audience know. I know the Golden State is up 111-91 over the Sacramento right now. Before we go ahead and talk about things, can we just get your little quick feelings about what's going on right now? I don't know if you're tuning into the game right now. Golden State's up on Sacramento right now. About to look like they're gonna close it out in the fourth quarter. What's your feelings on the game so far?
Yeah, I watched every minute of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Youth versus experience. Youth versus experience. Every possession, every possession is important. And what you see with Sacramento is they just don't understand. They just don't have the experience. Not that they don't understand. They don't have the experience to understand that certain fouls that you committed in the third quarter, the second quarter, should not have been fouls that should have been committed. So it's just a discipline within it. And now they have the experience.
Exactly. You know, what Warriors, they got the experience, 4-time champions and things of that nature. Obviously, they got Sacramento, they got the youth, they got the legs, but game 7, you know, things getting a little tight. They're not used to this territory, and Golden State, they're comfortable. So I kind of see that. But we're going to talk about some other playoff matches. I just wanted to start off with that since that's what's going on. But like I said, thanks again for joining the show. Before we talk about some NBA playoff things, can we just talk a little bit about what you got going on? You know, you being the head coach of the Newton Foundation Charter High School, and also what you got with the IQ Sports. If you would just want to tell the audience again what you got going on with those two things.
So right now with New Foundations, we are in our off-season program right now. We go 4 days a week right now between skill development, team concept things, and strength and conditioning and weight room. We go 4 days a week. My young guys, I had a really young team this year, so a lot of growing. The same thing with Sacramento, understanding, you know, the smallest details that matter. And with IQ, I'm gearing up for my off-season program. This is my third year doing a summer 10-week program, 30 players. So I'm gearing up for that.
Okay.
That starts in June 19th, I believe. And yeah, so I'm just excited about getting things going and you know, just getting my full off season.
Now, if you don't mind, what's your thoughts on like the state of high school basketball, like over the past couple of years, just for as far as on the on court game, so not the necessary, you know, the politics or whatever outside the court, just the on court skills where, you know, where I'm talking about as far as in. And you could probably talk about some of the difference from obviously your Philadelphia area versus, you know, my York County area. From what I've been seeing from the York County area, just a lack of defense, lack of rebounding, boxing out, just the little basis of that nature, and even simple triple threat moves. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. So definitely, driving to the rack or gunning from the threes, pretty much. That's just pretty much the standard what's going
Right.
on across the board from my area.
So
Yeah,
right. You saying from your
yeah.
area, you see a lot of that. Okay, yeah. So I think that's the problem within just youth sports, just in general. There's a lot of games being
Hmm.
played, like a ton of games being played, but
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
lot of skill development. Don't get me wrong. There needs to be a healthy balance of skill development and gameplay, but at the same time, these
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
these young girls and boys, are both very, very young, and so they're really easily molded. And so if you're doing all
Hmm.
of the right stuff, especially during the off season, you can kind of like develop a player and put them on a fast track versus just letting them play games, I don't get me wrong. When I was growing up, that's
Hmm.
all we did. We didn't do a lot of
Yeah, you
training. Like
play.
training wasn't a thing. Like right, they didn't have a me or Chuck Ellis or Kyle Sample or Lou Leonard. They didn't have a me or them.
Hmm.
They this is all they have. And so thinking back to when I grew up, it was like, oh no, either we was playing in games or we was over at the court, Stanton Park, Boney's, things
Hmm.
like that. These are the courts around my way, and so I look at high school basketball right now, and it's just coaches just don't know how to develop. And that's why you have guys like me and
Hmm.
the other 3 or 4 guys that I just mentioned. You have guys like us that can be able to kind of like get out there and do the things that coaches don't have the time to. Because to be honest, to be quite frank, it is hard to develop a player with skill development and
Yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
try to win games. It's a real hard mixture. And so I have that unique
Hmm.
skill set that I could be able to do it. But there's not a lot of coaches. There are a lot of coaches that bring me in to be able to train their teams during the off season because of these type of things,
Hmm.
and that's college and high school. And so it's the time that we don't have to with our players, um, and other kids. Most of these kids are playing double sports. I have kids that play baseball, soccer, football. So it's hard to be able to kind of like, all right, during my off season where I'm typically playing another sport, now I'm going to devote it to this,
Yeah.
and they've been doing this for their entire life. You get what I'm saying? And
No, 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 no.
there was there was one more point that I wanted to say. The within high school sports, and especially on the East
Yeah,
Coast,
yeah.
we don't have a shot clock, and this is one thing. This is one thing that frustrates me because you watch so much bad, mediocre basketball that you just look at
Yeah.
it as like, yo, this isn't
Just
going to translate to
just the
college
four
because there's
corners
no
holding the
shot clock.
ball.
Like, how do you
Like,
yeah, like how if you're a inferior
hmm.
team, not by
Yeah,
personal
yeah.
sense, but as far as like the basketball game, if you're an inferior team and you just holding the ball, it dilutes the
Hmm.
game. It slows the game down, and so I believe the PA and other states on the East Coast, because most of the West Coast and the
Yeah, yeah.
Midwest has the shot clock, and so we take a step back when we don't have the shot clock.
Yeah.
We need the shot clock in PA. The schools like Emoteps and Archbishop Woods and the Newman Gorettis, these teams need the
Exactly.
shot
As
clock to
speed the game
speed
up.
their game
Exactly,
up.
exactly. So I'm glad you went there.
Yeah,
Okay. I know you touched it a little bit, just briefly, but I want to talk about just as a whole, talk about high school, college, and the WNBA. What you think about the state of women's basketball, especially the LSU and Iowa doing record breaking numbers for college. They even did more than the men's basketball with the 9.9 million views. I think we're getting a good rally behind from women's sports because the superstars, the characters that we can grow with and love, because that's big in my opinion. You gotta have the characters that you can fall in love with as well.
right.
Hmm.
Um, let's start at the high school level. the sad reality is, and this is a number that I see not too long ago, when girls get to like that 7th, 8th grade year, most of them,
Okay.
they quit basketball or whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. It's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
on your body. Every athlete understands what what sacrifices you have to make with your body, mentally what you have to do. And so I know that that number of girls that are playing at the high school level, they have to deal with so much. You get what I'm saying? The college women's basketball, I believe it is becoming, it's almost at the level of men's basketball, and it's for 2 or 3 simple things. The first is they have 4 quarters.
Yeah, exactly.
They
That's
don't
beautiful.
have
That's the
2
beautiful.
halves. Like that 2 half, right? That 2 halves of basketball, it baffles me. But for one, foul trouble. If a player gets
They're
2
done to the second
fouls in the
half.
first half, so now they're done to the second half, and it's like, wait a minute, who's the chairman of the NCAA men's basketball that's going to say, hold on, we need to get rid of this because this is killing us, right? That was the first thing. The second thing is the pace of the game is starting to speed up with women's with college women's basketball. Also because the product is becoming better, right? So girls are becoming more skilled. I mean, they're becoming just as skilled. I don't want to say just as athletic, but they are athletic. So you have these things. There's also a rule there is also the rule that they adopted from the NBA, whereas though with timeouts in the backcourt, you can advance the basketball. That's another rule that
I didn't even realize about the timeout to advance the ball that they can't do that. And the men's side,
right? And so there's always the counterpart of men's college basketball is not women's college basketball. The counterpart is NCAA football. And so the reason why NCAA football is always going to win with viewership is because the game is marketable, it's bigger, it's faster, it's more athletic. If you're slow, college basketball for men has not evolved in maybe 30, 40 years as far as, like, for one, the spacing on the court. They still have 3 seconds. They still can't advance the ball. There's still a 30-second shot clock. And, like, I believe that the shot clock should be down to 25 seconds, maybe even to 24 seconds like the NBA. And you have to speed the game up. And so for all of that, I believe that women's basketball at the college level, at the collegiate level, is 100% catching up with men's basketball. And I'm here for it. I love some college women's basketball. It's executed better at some point. At the highest levels. It's I was
definitely appears to be that way.
Like, right, you get what I'm saying? Like, there was a stretch where UConn was just like, they were just it, and
South Carolina
over the last few years, you've seen South Carolina take over, but we just seen South Carolina lose to Iowa. When this wasn't a thing back in the 90s because Duke had the 90s on lock for college basketball, and you had your individual teams in here and there, but women's college basketball is picking up tremendously. It's a beautiful game to watch for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially at the high
I definitely agree. Like I said, that I think it's in a great place right now because the record breaking things and all the little things that's coming outside the game. It's not just on the court and stuff. It's kind of like welcome to the big leagues now. Like, the NBA game, the men's game, it's gonna get critiqued for the on court stuff and off court stuff. So now you have to see to the table because we ain't just gonna be breaking down the on court things. We're gonna talk about the off court things as well. That's what we do with the NFL. That's what we do with the NCAA football. The big marketing things.
Right. It's the one thing that Dr. Jerry Buss did, and this is what I loved about the Lakers, and I understood it as I got older, is he understood that that basketball, the NBA is a show. Everything about the players was a show. I'm not even with, if you think to everything that happened in the 90s with Magic Johnson, with him attract the HIV and everything like that, contract the HIV, they made that public. That is something
Yeah.
that typically
Yeah,
people keep to
exactly.
themselves. You understand what I'm saying? They were comfortable enough with making that public because they understood that he's still a human being and this is a show. People, there's no
Mm-hmm.
such thing as bad publicity. Like, you're going to sell no matter what. And that's kid Dylan Brooks. If the kid,
Yeah,
he
exactly,
talked all
exactly.
of this trash to LeBron and people are still talking about
Mm-hmm.
him, there's no such thing as bad publicity. And so I respect Dr. Jerry Buss for understanding that and
Exactly.
calling it
Yep.
the Late Show in the
Mm-hmm.
the late 70s
Exactly.
into the 80s into the 90s. They called it the Late Show, and so they go hand in hand. The off court stuff goes hand in hand with the on court stuff, and if you're a true fan of the game, you appreciate both. Where I don't like is the media sometimes can use headlines and try to turn it to something things that it's
exactly.
really
Just
not.
because
And
that's the narrative they want to push.
it's
Exactly.
right. That's it's clickbait, and so you see so many times that something that probably wasn't anything like the whole Draymond punching Jordan Poole, like something like that should have never.
That came within the
out.
organization
Never.
leaking that
Like,
video.
Right.
Exactly.
You and I have both played college basketball, and we both know that
Yeah, exactly.
fights,
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
It happens. Like I can remember fights I've had in practices. This is before you got to Central Penn, but I can remember fights that we've had or arguments that we've had in practice when we're competing. Because when you're competing and you mix testosterone in that with competitiveness, like, somebody's going to fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, it's keep it in house. It's over and done with. We move on. Bygones be guns. Act like it's nothing happened. Now, obviously, it comes out. We know it came from within. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And to me, that it's just corny. I just dislike.
Yeah. Like I said, the media got the agenda, the narrative that they want to push, and I try to tell you what it is. I don't got like a agenda. I just try to say what it is and get my relatable experience. That's how I move. But I know what goes on in general. Before we get into, because we're about to talk about these NBA playoff matchups, I got to get your thoughts on Ime Udoka being the head coach of the Rockets. Given that whole circumstances of him being suspended, let go from the Celtics, you think that's a good move? That's the only move that he could have done, or what are the case?
Hell yeah. I don't know if it was the only move he could have done. I'd rather him go there than freaking one of these purgatory franchises. They rumored Raptors
since Nick Nurse got let go. That was like kind of one of the rumors, but
yeah. The Raptors infrastructure is and fan base is cool, but it's the piece it's a piece that they lack.
It wasn't Nick Nurse.
It 100% wasn't, to me. From what I see, I don't think it was Nick Nurse. He just won a championship 3 years ago. So I don't think 4 years ago. I don't think it was him. But the NBA is, and just like the NFL is, what can you do for me now? I see Dwayne Casey get fired after taking a team to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the very next year that team makes it to the finals. Like,
I mean, David Black, he took LeBron's team to the finals.
David Black. You look at the Eagles with what's our old coach name?
Okay,
Doug
Peterson.
Doug Peterson. Like, we won a Super Bowl 6 years ago, and he's not the coach now. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
we lucked up and got back,
but like just things like that.
Don't get me wrong, we got a good coach, but
you just won.
Yeah, and so
not too long ago.
Like
exactly.
Just being patient. A lot of these organizations just are not patient. College is starting to do that as well. You see guys only getting a few years, and it's like I'm one of the head coaches here in Philly, one of our Big Fives, LaSalle, Ashley Howard. He's only been there 4 years. He came from a winning program in Villanova. I think you give a person at least maybe with that type of program, especially how LaSalle is, the facilities and things like that, you need to kind of spruce that up.
I was going to say at least 6 years for something like that.
right, like a little over half of a
Yeah,
decade,
exactly.
just so you can kind of like bring in your pieces and bring in the right coaching staff, and maybe you might need more. Y'all might need to build a new
Yeah.
facility or something like that. It could be anything, and so I like what Sacramento did with going out and
Yeah.
getting Mike Brown. I like what the Rockies did with going out and getting Ime Udoka. I believe there are a lot of young, especially young black coaches that just need the opportunity. I think Ime is going to take this team pretty. I think that he's going to develop with this team pretty good. They can
Yeah,
score the
young, no
basketball. They just
discipline.
young.
No
They're just
discipline
like
over there.
Sacramento, just young.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Just not
Okay,
just yet. Right.
let's get to it. Okay, we might yeah we gonna talk we gonna talk about the Lakers and Warriors, but I got the Philadelphia man on her. We got all due respect. We got to start off with your Sixers. Y'all swept the Brooklyn Nets. How you feel about that? And Joel Embiid dealing with a knee injury. Word on the street, he gonna have to use a knee brace if he do come back. I mean, well, when he do come back, what's your feelings on everything? Pretty serious against the Celtics as well.
We knew that this was going to happen. Yeah, well, so I knew he's injury prone. All of that weight, all of that quickness, all of that agile movement, and all of that on that 7-foot frame with that weight, it's just not normal. And so small tears and twists and dislocated this and sprains. These are all things that are common when you have somebody of that size moving around that quick. It's like I'm surprised he doesn't have a lot more back issues because of how much he does with his feet and whatever. I still like the with the Sixers or the last series.
The Celtics.
But now this is a different monster. The Celtics is a different monster. I'm not a big fan of Doc. I'm not.
Exactly.
We got a Dr. J. So I'm not a big fan of Glenn. I'm really not. And this is from me watching him with the Clippers to Boston. He makes a lot of like coaching errors, and I'm not like the most experienced coach or anything like that. He's at the highest level, but I see certain things within him and within their culture that, especially with the Clippers, that I just was like, I wouldn't have done that, and all of that star power, all of that talent that you had with the Clippers, all of that experience that you had with the Celtics, you have a superstar within Embiid, and you have a star and a former superstar with Harden, and with a few young pieces, and you're not. And you've been here for 3 years now, and we've been bounced we've been bounced in the first or the second round 2 years. Like what?
Oh yeah. Nate want to get in on this.
I'm just not the biggest believer in him. I'm just not the biggest believer in them. I mean, in him, not in the Sixers. I believe in the Sixers, but not in.
I don't mean cut you. You know, Nate want to get on this. Yeah. I mean, I know Nate. Yeah, I mean, Ed. I'm asking you. You want to join the job? Oh, okay.
Yeah, We can do that.
Yeah, I was just asking before. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, because we talking NBA playoffs here. So it's only right. What's going on, man? Appreciate you joining.
What's
we
up,
talking
bro?
NBA playoffs. I was just asking them. What's your thoughts on Joel Embiid with the knee injury going up against the Celtics? How you feeling on that?
Sixers going to the finals. That's how I feel.
Okay. So I need to cut to the chase and ask. I had a little order. I need to cut to the chase and ask both of y'all who the 76ers is facing in the finals. What's y'all prediction?
The Lakers.
Okay.
In the Lakers.
Okay, I like it.
Lakers.
You know, I'm a Lakers fan. You already know I'm a Lakers fan. I love it. But what's your thoughts on how we did against the Memphis Grizzlies? 1-6 games. You think we handled the business correctly? I felt like we should have took care of the business in Memphis 1-5, but I mean we put it out in 6.
Yeah, different style coming up this next series though. They got Golden State. That's a different animal now. So they got to be prepared for that. That's a lot to deal with over there.
That's not too bad though. I think that's the easier matchup than going against the team that swept us this season against the Kings.
No. I would have rather go against. I would rather go against the Kings.
He swept us this year.
Go against the Warriors. No, that's see, this is the thing. And me and Nate, we always used to talk about this. There are two different seasons. But actually, you might as well say it's 3 different seasons. The beginning of the playoffs, right? Then you got. I mean, not the beginning of the playoffs, the beginning of the season. Then you got
after All-Star, for sure.
All-Star break.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And then you got the playoffs. So they could. I mean, Memphis beat.
Lakers had a winning record against them this year.
Oh, it was 2-2. No, it was 2-2. It was 2-2. Yeah,
but
I think it was 2-2. Yeah. It was 2-2.
I think they split. So 50%, and they just win. They just won against them. You feel what I'm saying? I think it's all about when the game slows down. Who's your best player? Your best 2 players. And so I love LeBron to death. The way that Steph Curry spreads that floor, he when you mix him with that unit and when you mix him with, especially in that third quarter, we just watched it. It's hard to slow that down. And LeBron is still great. He's still great. But I could see the flaws, and this is my favorite player. Like Nate will tell you, I used to argue with him up and down in the townhouses about him versus MJ, him versus Kobe. Like LeBron is my guy, but you can see
big time. Definitely big time. Yeah,
and it's not. I mean, that's
for sure.
I mean, age.
Exactly. That's all.
Now, this is what I can tell you. Anthony Davis is going to be the best player in that series.
He got to bring it every night. He got to bring that. He can't pick and choose.
Look at when
he can't be 50-50.
When he healthy, when he right, in my opinion, he top 5 in the league when he right.
Of course, ain't no question.
And he right
we
right
need
now.
The consistency.
And he right now. He dominated that. He dominated that Memphis series. That's what he looked like.
Yeah, but he was too inconsistent. One game he bring it, the next game he don't. I mean, like, come on, what are we doing?
Hold on. Let me hold on from a coaching perspective. Let me just speak on one thing real quick. When you have the number 1 option, right? So in the playoffs, it takes you for the number 1 option. Some guys it takes for them 1 or 2 games to adjust the coverages that they throw at him. Like AD gets a double team anything below the foul line, or he gets them shading over, cutting off, striking the court, anything below the foul line. That's hard. Like you look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant didn't have a good first game.
The Clippers
first few games with going against the Clippers because they're shrinking the floor. They're sending the double at times. If anything, like let's say in pick and rolls with AD, they might take away the roll and force you to put that ball in that corner to make that corner man shoot the ball who's not used to getting that shot in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't want to say that he was inconsistent. I think that I want to give more credit to the teams that he's played against. Who did they just play against? Against Memphis, that they covered him well. And then once he got comfortable, it's like
they was trying to do a couple of different switches and matches to get throw different bodies that AD. That's what he's going. But I need him to, because we're not gonna win nothing if it ain't AD ain't gonna be dominating. That's just the fact.
He dominated that series on both ends. When he scored 15, 16 points, he had 4 or 5 blocks. He controlled the paint. I mean, he changed shots. I mean, when he right, bro, he is.
I mean, he wasn't like John Moran just doing multiple layups on him. He was crazy on him in Memphis.
He had 26 blocks in the entire series. That's major in the 6-game series.
That's
amazing. 100%. That's major. Like, bro, that's hard.
His defense definitely was consistent though.
You broke it down to average.
Yeah, but I mean, like
I know I just jumped in. Early takes on Denver, Phoenix. I got Denver in 6.
Okay, okay.
I got Denver.
I mean,
6.
See, Phoenix looked good yesterday. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought Phoenix was gonna win before yesterday's game. I thought Phoenix was gonna win, but I'm like, yo, I gotta reconsider and read some litter because this is different. They're not supposed to come out like that. Nuggets won it more than them. It was simple as that.
All right, so I think that what I've seen was they had the energy from the crowd. That was 1. 2, they were hitting shots and their depth, their depth and their beach and their bench. Their depth is crazy, right? I think that's the one thing that Phoenix doesn't have is the depth. So now you're going to have to see Monty Williams sit down and say, you know what, KD, you know what, D-Book, you know what, CP, Ayton, I need y'all to play major minutes this season.
You making my next point, Sean. I got Denver's top 4. I think Denver's top 4 is going to be better than Phoenix top 4, and it's on top heavy. When I look at Jokic, Murray, Porter Jr., and Aaron Gordon, I think they can outplay them. I really think they can.
I don't know.
Murray going off.
You talk about AD being inconsistent. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in what's his name, Aaron Gordon. I just don't think he's that consistent. I think that he has a good 4 games, 3 games, 2 games, and then he goes back to being all right. I'm going to get 12.
Maybe the environment,
12.
Maybe the environment might bring it down to him. You only get 2 games at home. You get 2 games back in it. You get 2 games. Yeah, that's why they got home advantage though.
Like Cousin Tay said, playing in Denver is different. That's a factor.
Yeah, that altitude and all that stuff. Yeah. That's why
they
got home court advantage.
That shit hard. Hey Nate, so I always get a connecting flight from Denver to see Benjamin or whatever in Phoenix or whatever. When I tell you, every time I go there, it just feels like my head feel like it's about to just fucking. I'm sorry, freaking just.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh, bro. That's crazy.
It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I ain't never been to Denver. Yeah, that's wild. What's your thoughts about this Knicks and the Heat series? How y'all feel about Jimmy Butler? I mean, Jimmy Butler going off, man.
Oh man,
he put the boys on his back. That's the definition of willing your team to victories and having a Russell Westbrook effect. Like you going to tell your team you going this hard, y'all get on my back, come along with me. Like, but obviously Jimmy, he definitely getting the Bucks on there. But yo, it's crazy because like them boys believe in Jimmy. Like he's carrying them on back. Like get on me, I'm gonna lead, and everything else follow through. But he got a nice like they already got a good culture over there with the Heat as a whole. So it was just like a perfect fit. Like Pat Riley's Heat culture, and then Jimmy Butler's mindset, and them just and they got Udonis Haslem holding everybody to the standard and the culture, and make sure nobody doing nothing less than that. Like it's a beautiful thing they got going on over there.
Yeah, what you think, Nate?
I like the Knicks in 6 or 7 games, probably more like 7, to be honest. And this is
okay. It might go 7, yeah.
I think that the Knicks have a great defensive team, a great defensive scheme. You know, Thibodeau, you know, he hang his hat there. You know what I mean? And I think they got the personnel to play the defensive style that he want to play. But also, I think that my only thing with Miami is I get worried about how stagnant they get offensively.
And I get worried. That is true.
I get worried about how inconsistent Bam look at moments. I get that's my worry with Miami.
Yeah. So the inconsistency is 100% a thing. The reason why, and if you notice in the playoffs, in every sport, experience always prevails. And so we just seen it with 2 different series. Miami has way more experience. They have 2 champions. They have 2 guys that have been, or 4 or 5 guys that have been to, or I'm sorry, no disrespect to OGUD. Udonis Haslem, like he's 100% one of the 3. He's 3 champions. 4 guys that have been to the finals, remaining from them that team that went a few years ago with the Lakers against the Lakers. Plus, you have a championship coach, a championship GM. You get what I'm saying? Like these things aren't just by accident. And so the Knicks are really young, or really I don't want to say young. They're really inexperienced in pressure moments. The only person that the only 2 that I think that can be able to deal with that pressure right now is Brunson, and because of their experience from the college, Brunson and Hart, like they being winning 2 the college championships, then coming into playing with one of the biggest superstars in today's game with Luka. I think that he has an understanding of it. But you've seen today, Toppin is just inexperience. He let 3 over the head baseball passes go over his head from Kevin Hart and Kevin Love. And
yeah,
like,
that can't happen.
That just can't happen. And so at every spot on the floor, Barrett, they're young. Mitchell, they're young. They all are young. There's not that much experience, and then you not dealing with your all-star. You don't have your all-star with you. I don't know. Like I gotta see what they look like when Randall come back, and that's another thing. I'm not a big fan of Randall.
I'm not either. I'm really not.
Agreed, though. He's not a 1, but he's a solid. You know, he's a solid NBA starter. He's a mid-tier, all-star, right? He's not anything crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
He can't lead them, but I like a lot what Brunson do with them, and I think that defense just transitions so well in playoff basketball. And I just know that they're gonna hang their hat there. I mean, even tonight without Randall, what did the Knicks score? 101. I mean, he scored like 108 or something like that.
Yeah.
108.
Yeah.
So
it was like 108 to like.
Yeah, I think
they lost by like 10.
I think they can win this series. I'm gonna take them in 7 games. I like them in 7.
All right, now you like them in 7. I think it's gonna be maybe a 6 game, maybe even a gentleman's sweep by Miami. Miami just took their freaking hearts in New York. I don't think that people understand how hard it is to win in New York. I've been to 1 WNBA playoff game in New York, and it felt the atmosphere was crazy, bro. The atmosphere was unbelievable. So I like Jimmy. Jimmy's the best
for sure.
player in this
series.
Ain't no question. But I think also the expectations, all the celebrities is out. Everybody's heaping all the praise on the Knicks, and they're young. I think that might be getting them to them too. This is new. All that comes into play.
Can I add something? How many players have you heard say? When people come to Miami, they lose.
Oh yeah.
Miami has a winning record. One of the
Yeah. That's true. Yep.
In Miami. In Miami because of everything around Miami.
The restaurants, the night, like all that.
You got the everything, right? They just won 1 in New York. If they lose the next one, but win 2 straight in Miami, all they got to do is win 1 more. They already proved they can win 1 in New York. That's my gentleman's suite that I just talked about. But let's say they luck up and they win 1, and then that means they got to come back to Miami. So it's all I think that everything is set up. It would need to be Brunson or Julius Randle to come and do something historic. And their games are not built around historic moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's no disrespect to them. They just don't have historic moments in their games. Now Jimmy do. Jimmy definitely do.
Okay. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to get, since I got both of y'all, can I get both of y'all top 5 NBA players in this playoff? It can be players that have been eliminated. I got my top 5. But I'm just saying, the top 5 ballers that have been balling out so far in the playoffs.
Okay.
Obviously, first and foremost, anybody watching, understand and knows anything, I got Jimmy Butler number 1. I got Jaylen Brown number 2. That boy was averaging 30 plus against the Hawks. I got Devin Booker. He balling by default, but Kevin Durant's the one's getting the double teams. But I got Devin Booker number 3. I got Jamal Murray number 4. Kevin Durant number 5. Honorable mention. My boy Trae Young, man, he can only do what he could do so much. Honorable mention Trae Young.
Okay, I like that list. Go ahead, Sean. I'll give it to you next.
Mm-hmm. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm 100% going Jimmy Butler 1. And people are going to think I'm crazy. I'm going Stephen Curry 2. Are you talking about just scoring moments, or are you talking about who's been like?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
who's changing everything? Who's changing everything?
All right, Devin. I will go Devin Booker 3. Anthony Davis. He had 1 bad game.
Yeah, it was definitely 2. It was definitely 2 bad games. It was definitely 2. I'm just saying, it was 2 bad games. And I'm
but how do you judge bad games? Because he didn't shoot well from the field, or how do we judge bad games?
Yeah, because I said the defense was consistent. The defense was consistent, but I'm gonna need and listen, this is not even my words. This is coming from Shaq and Chuck. They said I need 30 and 15 out of him. I need that. It's not gonna be a good night. They kept it real. Like, come on, that's what we need out of my big man.
But I don't know if that's realistic sometimes because of see, Shaq says that and Chuck says that because their game was predicated 100% around scoring. Anthony Davis is a two-way player. And so when he's missing on the offense end sometimes,
he definitely consistently on the defense.
On that defense end. Like, ain't nobody messing with him on that defense of what he can do, and he can get out there, switch onto your guard for 3 to 4 dribbles. He can be able to. He's changing shots at the rim. He's making people fear, like coming into the paint. Like, so I don't know. Anthony Davis is my honorable mention, and I got to give you a fifth one.
Oh my gosh,
Draymond Green, bro.
And this guy got suspended for one of the games. This man got suspended.
And guess what? Guess what he
did?
He galvanized his troops and they won the next game. He took that team mentally out of it because I think that the Grizzlies, not Grizzlies, Sacramento thought that they were going to be a step back because Green wasn't
definitely
there.
did.
No, they took it a step up.
And Draymond doing podcasting in between time.
And it showed today as well. That's one of my favorite NBA players. That's because that's how I played. Like I played with that type of of doing a little bit of everything. That Swiss Army knife. And so I love players like that because it's like they bring so much value to a game. So I'm going to say Draymond would be my AD be my honorable mention.
And they say he agree with my list.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the Lakers and the Sixers in the finals. All right, we gonna get out of here, but before we go. He said he agree with my list.
No, I'll give you my quick one.
Okay.
My quick one. My quick one is Jimmy Butler first. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Second, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you Anthony Davis second. Third, I'm gonna give you.
I'm a Laker fan.
Come
on, AD, I need some buckets.
But go ahead. I gotta give you him second, man. He dominated. He did what he's supposed to do out there. Both sides of the floor. My third, I would probably have to say, I probably agree with. I like the pick of Steph Curry, right? Because I think he he just went off a 50 kind of finish day series off. I mean, he played at a high level. I mean, you can't go wrong with Steph Curry at 3.
Right.
At four, I'll probably go Jalen Brunson. He carried them through that.
Yeah.
He carried them through that.
I'm not mad at Jalen Brunson either.
Through that first round series, and then to round it out at 5, I'll probably go to Kid Fox from Sacramento. I think he played a tremendous
series. I know he missed the game too, so but he was balling too.
Only reason I didn't go with anybody from Boston is just I think Boston played with their food for a lot of that series. They should have swept that series. But
Trey was doing it by himself. Man, Dejounte Murray, y'all better not pay him no max money. I ain't even mean to go ahead, but y'all ain't.
Wait, whoa,
man, he left my man hanging.
Hold on.
He left Trey hanging.
Hold on. For one, this is Dejounte's first time ever being in
y'all doing him like
the
that.
playoffs, I believe. That's one. 2, I think that people overlook so much bad things with Trae Young. He's a horrible defender. He takes horrible shots. He turns the ball over too much. It's like I think he's one of the most overrated players, but I also see his greatness because he shoots he shoots really good. Don't get me wrong, but the one thing that separates it, if the prototype of his build is Steph Curry, he is nowhere near what Steph Curry does. Steph Curry is a great passer. He's a great screener.
But Trae Young,
he's a great shooter.
He's averaging like 10 assists, but he's
a great leader.
His teammates don't be consistent. His teammates do not be consistently helping him out.
But see, okay. So averaging 10 assists off of having a lob threat at the rim is not the same as what you see with the kid from
Taylor Burton, yeah.
Halliburton. That's a real passer.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's a real passer. Rondo was a real passer. It's not only all right, I get it off the screen. This is what Russell Westbrook used to do. I get the pick and roll, and I'm throwing it. That's like I'm not getting the shot, so I'm going to throw. It's a selfish assist. So I'm not saying he's not a good passer. He is. But if you look at 6 to 7 of his assists, is going to Capella throwing the shit at the rim. You got a 7-footer right there. You throwing the ball at the rim. That's not dissecting the offense and getting the ball in people's shot pockets. Not just pick and rolls, but shot pockets, coming off of floppy action, all of these type of things. Like that's a good passer to me.
Now, my last basketball thing I want to get out, both of y'all, especially you, Sean, since you coach. What's your thoughts about Austin Reeves?
Nate is a coach.
My bad. I didn't even know. I didn't know, but I definitely need to get y'all. What's your thoughts on the progression of Austin Reeves? Undrafted, 2-way contract, non-guaranteed contract. Just got guaranteed from playing in the month in January for the rest of the year. He deserves a nice little bag after the end of the season. Like I ain't saying no max. I just say a nice little, maybe a little 80 for 4, something like that.
For one, he's still on his.
He's on his rookie though.
Yeah, but he deserves a little promotion, a little extension.
Yeah. No, they ain't gonna do that too early. They're gonna have to wait because you got the limited summer. We're not. You asking about his progression. So Nate, you go first.
Yeah, but I'm saying like from being a 2-way player, fighting for a starting spot, got a starting spot, and been balling ever since he was in the starting lineup. Change our ways, and he got moves out there. Obviously, always give you defensive effort, all those good things that you love, but he definitely got skills, and like LeBron said, his basketball IQ is at a high level, and it shows out there.
Yeah, he's ascended. He did what he's supposed to do in the league. He got there. He kind of grabbed the bull by the horns, ran with it. To Sean's point, I think he got to get in the gym this summer. Mm-hmm. It's definitely some points to his game that he need to improve a little bit. Some of his decision making is questionable, but that's because he's young and he hasn't been in a lot of situational basketball. So I think he'll be better next year for sure. But I think he'll get paid. He very shifty. He quick with the basketball. He can knock down outside shots, and he's honestly a better rim finisher than a lot of people give him. He can finish at the rim.
And he's good passer.
Yeah, and I mean he got what it takes, but now it's about like, all right, once you see that you can play at that level, now it's about hitting the gym and ascending, right? Because you can play now, but now it's about getting in the gym and ascending and really putting that behind you.
Okay.
All right. I think I agree everything what they said. When I look at guys that make that has that 1 year, I get that Jeremy Lin in my head.
Okay.
Is this a gimmick because he played with another good or 2 players at the same time, whereas though the floor is kind of a little bit more open? Like you think about this. Can you take the same player of Austin Reeves, and I think he's good. I think he has all of the little things that I had to watch multiple games to see, like, oh no, he's a hooper. Do you think if you take Austin Reeves and put him on, let's say, a young team, the Rockets, is he still the same thing, being a number 1 or number 2 option? I don't know, because you have arguably the greatest player of all time. You have one of the greatest 2-way bigs of all time. Like, it's hands down.
Exactly.
AD is
no question.
one of the greatest 2-way bigs of all time. It is hard. It is hard to not be successful with that much space and that much, like, all right, I got split decision seconds. Like, as soon as I get the ball, like, I got to make decisions right away. Whereas though, if you don't have that you slow the game down a little bit more because of you're the number 1 option. So that all of the coverages that I was talking about with KD, AD, Giannis, all of them, now you get those same coverages. I want to see him perform with
you get the number 1 defender
AD and LeBron on the floor. So because you're going to get the number 1 defender, you're also going to get them loading up to the ball every time. You're also going to get you're going to get a little bit different whistle. So the whistle is favorable to you because you're playing with two all-time greats. That whistle isn't the same when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
Especially on a younger team. And so I just want to see it like Nate said. I think if he gets in the gym this summer, you know, you got some good NBA, you know, skill guys in the NBA. You got Phil Handy on your sideline. If he get in the summer, if he get in the gym this summer and just ball out,
definitely work with Coach Handy over there. Definitely do that. All right, I appreciate y'all joining me. I want to get one last thing out. Did y'all catch the Tank Davis TKO on Ryan Davis in the 7th round? Did y'all catch that?
I did. I watched it.
What's your thoughts on the fight? I mean, obviously, in my opinion, I didn't even think, you know, Ryan Garcia had any shot to win it because Tank knocked him down in the 2nd round, and I knew it was just a matter of time before Tank was going to, you know, get him because I know Ryan Garcia, he's more of an engaged fight. That's his thing, to be engaged, but he was leaving his little skinny body open for, you know, Tank to tag him.
Yeah, and you know, I'm a huge boxing guy. Probably right after basketball is boxing for me. So I watch every fight. I probably know every significant fighter in the sport. Tank, the one thing I wanted to see from Tank that he showed in that fight was that he could defend himself at a high level. Ryan was a great fighter, right? Yeah. Ryan wasn't a slouch, right? We always questioned if Tank was going to take the bigger fights, right? And fight, you know, the marquee names in his class. And he outclassed Ryan. Yeah. You know, he outclassed Ryan in there.
Yeah, he did.
Took some, you know, I think he picked the spots well. I think he showed his footwork. I think he showed he could defend himself at a high level. So now, next, I want to see what happens with Lomachenko and Devin Haney on the 20th in May.
Okay.
And I think from there, if Devin Haney win, I think Tank got to go ahead and take that Devin Haney fight and really solidify himself as, you know, best pound for pound in the world. So I'm impressed with what I've seen from Tank, but I want to see more now. You get what I'm saying? I want to see more from him now.
Yeah. Solidify.
So I'm from Philly, so boxing is just like Nate. Like I'm not as ingrained in it as Nate is, but what I like about it is the technique. So it was small things, and that's just also who I am. Like details really matter for me, right? There were times in this fight that I'm watching him. He's giving him certain shots to see what he's going to do. So I'm like, oh, he a chess player, and I like chess players. Like for coaches and all of that, I'm watching him. There were certain times that he would throw and see his timing on it or see what his reaction on it. And then that's when his ribs started to open up. And he hit it was one joke. It was, if you watch the replay of the whole fight, he had like before he hit him in the rib shot, he had 3 of those identical same punches that he could have hit him with because he was setting them up. And so I think Tank is definitely an up and coming boxer. But we got one here in Philly. You know, we got one here in Philly. Here we go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Here we go. And so anytime anybody from Philly, anytime anybody from Philly doing good, bro, we on it. Like I'm proud of anybody from Philly to do anything. That's the basketball team, football, baseball. I don't give a damn if you're playing football. Like
that's just the Philly atmosphere that y'all all about. You know,
that's a fact.
Y'all appreciate y'all guys joining the show. Do y'all got anything? Y'all want to mention anything coming up that y'all want to throw out there before we get out of here?
I'm gonna say one thing. I know this was impromptu. I just jumped on, but y'all, you know, I had to get a part of the conversation. So
I appreciate you doing this, man.
Appreciate y'all tapping me in.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean Riley, I love you, boy.
Yeah, I love you too, bro. I'm about to call you right after we get off of this. Yo, thank you, bro. Like, thank you for bringing me. Thank you for bringing me on. Thank you for allowing me to be able to. Because me and Nate this the crazy thing is. And it's 6 of us or 5 of us talking at the same time. This is the first time because me and Nate, we do pretty good with allowing each other to talk. So that's why I can sit back and like let them talk. But Jew or Book or one of our other guys that be around is like it's a lot of different opinions going at once, and we just be looking like. So this is the first time that we get to kind of like, oh, all right, I hear that, I respect that, like, but I appreciate you allowing us to, you know, come on your platform and you know, you keep doing what you do, bro. Seriously, man. Everything that you want in this podcast world or whatever you want is gonna happen. You just got.
That's a major fact. Sean Riley is an example of that. If you put the work behind it and you want it, bro, I see your platform is continuing to grow. Keep foot on the gas.
Yeah. I'm not locked in. Ain't no letting up. Keeping the pressure on.
And anytime you need us, you let us know. We tap right in for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate y'all pulling up, man. I know y'all busy. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get y'all address out here. I gotta send y'all some Fresh Boy t-shirts. You heard? I appreciate it. Yo, we're gonna let this cook, let it marinate, let it bubble up. To the next time. Yeah.